Hey everybody, my name is Antoine Martel. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to Cleveland, Ohio. We're currently in LAX. Going to Cleveland, Ohio to check out all the projects we have going. We have about 30 houses under construction, either that we just bought or just finishing up construction. So I'm going to take you guys through all those houses, show you guys all the numbers, and I hope you enjoy this one. This is going to be probably one of the most jam-packed videos we've ever done because we have the most amount of houses under construction in Cleveland, Ohio. All right, we just checked into the hotel. We're in Cleveland, Ohio. The whole Martel Turnkey team is here, as well as Rocket Offer. So Rocket Offer does the wholesaling. So both of the teams came to Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to tour everything together. The wholesalers are going to be able to see the properties that they're cold calling and texting, and then Martel Turnkey is going to see all the projects that we have under construction and underway. All right, we just left the hotel. We have 2 cars loaded up with people. Martel Turnkey and 1 person from Rocket Offers here so far. We're going to start the tour of the single family homes on the west side of Cleveland, close to the airport, and then slowly throughout the day move our way from the west side all the way to the east side. All right, so this morning in the lobby of the hotel before we left, I went through all the available inventory that we have in Cleveland, Ohio, and there's about 30 vacant houses. Compared to our trip in Memphis where we only had like 4 houses to walk, Cleveland is one of our biggest markets. It is our biggest market that we're investing in. So we have 30 houses to walk through, and we're gonna try to get through as many houses as we can today and show you guys the numbers, walk through, show you guys what it would look like if you were to buy it turnkey, show you guys the numbers if you were to BRRRR it or flip it yourself, so you guys can kind of see the different numbers for that property to make it make sense for you. And then depending on your situation, how much cash you have, if you're financeable, then you can decide, do you want to flip, do you want to BRRRR, or do you want to buy turnkey? First house of the day. We bought this house about a month ago, had to get the tenant out. They left peacefully. Now we're going to start the renovation process. So I think the contractor is here, so let's go walk the house and see the current work that's underway, and then I'll share some numbers with you guys. All right, so we just finished walking this house. We bought this house for $55,000. Renovation is $25,000, and it's worth about $100,000. So there's 2 options here that I want to tell you guys about. One is BRRRRing it. So if you want to BRRRR this house, you have to buy the house $55K cash, $25K cash renovation, all in for $80K plus closing costs, $85,000, $90,000 all in. But the house would only be worth probably $100,000 when it's all said and done. So you're going to have to put up all that money, renovate the house, hope that it appraises for $100,000, do an appraisal. You have to hold that house for 6 months in order to do an appraisal on that property. That's called a seasoning requirement with a bank. And that's to BRRRR it. So buy it, rehab it, rent it out, refinance it, and repeat. So that's option 1. So you can do that. At the end, you'll probably be making $200 to $300 a month net cash flow. The pro is that you're going to get all that cash back and be able to go and do it again, and you'll be making $200 to $300 a month net cash flow. The other option is to buy this house turnkey, like our clients do all the time on martelturnkey.com. So you would buy this house for $100,000. You put 20 grand down. You would get an appraisal done. The bank would approve you for financing. No waiting. $20,000 out of your pocket instead of $80,000, and you'd be able to buy this property fully renovated, tenant in place. You already know it's going to appraise because we're going to sell it to you with the appraised value, and that property is going to make you a net cash flow of $200 to $300 a month. So same cash flow per month, but way less risk. Only $20,000 out of your pocket instead of $80,000. And now it takes a lot more cash to buy these turnkey rentals if you want to build a scalable portfolio, but it's much quicker, especially if you have a full-time paying job where you can take money from your job and use that to go and buy turnkey rentals over and over again. It's much more scalable than BRRRRing out of state, finding a property manager, contractor, realtor, renting it out. So there's pros and cons to both of them. It really depends on your situation, how much cash you have, time you have, and what you want to be involved in. Managing construction jobs like this from thousands of miles away, or buying stuff when it's all said and done. So it really is dependent on you and what you want to do, but that's the numbers for this house. So now that we got that out of the way and I've kind of explained the 2 different scenarios and the pros and cons to each of them, we're going to be doing this for all the other houses that we walk through for the rest of the day. I'm going to give you the BRRRR numbers if you want to go and do it yourself, and the turnkey numbers if you just want to buy it turnkey from martelturnkey.com. One of the biggest cons to doing the of BRRRRs is that you have no idea what that house is gonna appraise for. So let's say you buy the house for 55 grand, renovate it for 25 grand, you're all in for $80,000, $90,000. You're hoping when you ran comps that the house is worth $100,000, but what if it does appraise for $80,000? You're screwed now. Your money's tied up in that house, can't get it out. You have to go through a whole nother lender process, appraisal process. Whereas the benefit of buying turnkey is that when you go and buy turnkey and if the house doesn't appraise, you can back out and walk away and get your earnest money back. No harm, no money lost, anything like that. So I really want you guys to understand the difference between BRRRRing and buying turnkey and the risks involved with the BRRRR, because I think there's not enough people talking about it on the internet. And I've seen a ton of people who didn't go and buy turnkey, went and did a BRRRR project, and then called me 6 months later saying, Antoine, I ran comps, I watched how to run comps on YouTube and I learned how to run comps. I thought the house was worth 100 grand. The appraiser said it's worth 75 grand. Now I'm screwed. I should have just bought a turnkey rental through you guys. So please understand that one of the biggest risks of the BRRRR is the appraisal not matching what you thought it was gonna appraise for. All right, we're at the second house of the day. As soon as we got inside, it started fucking pouring. We're waiting for the rest of the team to come, so watch, they're gonna be running in the rain, walking into this house. Watch this. Look there, they have look. Oh my God.
All around me are familiar faces.
I know. You're running with my jacket.
Where are you guys going?
All right, so this house, we bought it for 65K. Renovation was 45,000 bucks. 65 plus 45, 110,000 bucks. House is worth 125,000 bucks after. There's two options for this house. If you wanted to BRRRR it, 110,000 bucks, $120,000 you would need in cash to be able to buy it and renovate it and hold it. Or you can buy it turnkey for $125,000. Come and put 20% down, which is $25,000 to $30,000 plus some closing costs. In terms of cash flow, this house is gonna cash flow $200 to $300, just like the last house. For these kinds of projects, it does get really expensive to do your own BRRRRs because it does take a lot of cash. $120,000 instead of buying a turnkey for just $25,000 or $30,000. That's going to be the difference on this house. If you do have $120,000 to put into a house and leave it there for 6 months, then this could be a good option. If you don't have that much money, if you only have $30,000 or less and you want to get into real estate, then it would be a better option to just buy it turnkey, way less risk, tenants in place, fully renovated already, especially with the amount of renovations that this house is going to have. It's going to be a completely fully turnkey property. All right, this is house number 3. This is the house we have under contract to buy. So we're gonna walk it with the contractor, see if the rehab bid matches the expectations, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is a wholesale deal. The tenant just moved out, so it's vacant. Contractor's here.
That'd be cheaper than coming this out and putting a tub over the vanity. So no tub, I don't know why. To rip this out,
Add a
reroute
tub.
plumbing and move the vanity over and get a tub, I mean, it just doesn't work that depth.
So the original rehab budget was 22,000 bucks. It's probably gonna be 27. So that's a $5,000 difference. We're gonna see if we can increase the ARV from 125 to 130. By tier is gonna go run the comps to see if we can make up that margin on the ARV to make the numbers work. So we'll end up buying this house or trying to buy this house. We may ask for a reduction. Buy this one for 85,000 bucks. Renovation is $22,000 or $27,000, which is gonna be the new number. And then we're gonna try to increase the ARV from 125 to 130. This is kind of showing you guys a house that we're walking that we're looking to buy, so a little bit different. This is kind of the behind the scenes numbers for us, but something if you guys are walking your own projects or want to do your own projects, something you're gonna have to think about. You're gonna have this original idea, then you're gonna walk the house, and then you're gonna go back to the numbers you originally thought and re-look at every single one of those numbers. Rent, square footage, bedroom, bathroom, ARV, rehab. Now that we know this new information, what can we do with the property? And that's exactly what we're doing here. Next house of the day. This is a duplex. Lower unit is occupied, upper unit is under construction, as you can see here. Then we're gonna do a bunch of exterior work. Really good neighborhood. This is an old Brooklyn of Cleveland, Ohio. Really good neighborhood. Looks like there's carpet that we're gonna be keeping. Then we put new kitchen flooring in. Just gonna do some cosmetics on this second unit. Keep the tenant on the bottom unit. Then do exterior renovations as well to the entire property. All right, so this is a duplex. We just bought this one for 80,000 bucks. Renovation is about $20,000 to do the exterior work and to renovate this unit. Bottom unit's currently occupied, increasing the rent from $540 a month to $600 a month, signing them on a brand new lease. Up here, we'll rent out for another $600 a month. So total rent is gonna be $1,200 a month. The value of this property is probably 120,000 bucks. So two options here. Again, if you were to find this on the MLS or on market, you can buy it and probably buy it with financing because it's in pretty good of shape. So you would go buy this house for $80,000 or $90,000, put some money down. Let's say you're gonna put $15,000 or $20,000 down. Then you're gonna have to come up with another $20,000 in renovation to get it up, right? So if you wanted to BRRRR it, that's probably what I would do. It's gonna be 40 grand, 50 grand out of pocket for you to be able to do that. And you'll probably make at the end of the day $300 to $400 a month net cash flow. The other option is to buy it turnkey through martelturnkey.com. This property is currently on our website. I don't know by the time of posting this video, it's probably gonna be sold, but you can go and buy this house for 120 grand and instead put 30 grand down. So less money than doing it all yourself, and you don't have the risk. Don't have to manage the contractors, don't have to go through the whole financing process, don't have to risk the appraisal, don't have to risk the contractors. So there's a lot of benefits here of buying it turnkey, but those are kind of the two options that I would think about. There is a lot of duplexes out there on the market that you can probably buy with financing where it's either fully occupied, maybe they just need a little bump, but just know that the difference between buying turnkey and buying stuff on the market is that those renovations, you're gonna have to fund them with cash. So if you're cash tight, like you only have 30, 40, 50 grand, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Go and buy 2, 3 turnkey rental properties instead of putting all your money into a building like this and then hoping and praying that it appraises later on. All right, so we're at the next house. This house is in Maple Heights, and when you buy houses in Maple Heights, they make you replace the sidewalk blocks. And so that's what's happening here. We have to replace these sidewalk blocks. If they come out and inspect your property, it goes on this point of sale inspection report. And what they'll do is they'll tell you to replace all the sidewalk blocks that are like pretty much touching your property or the lawn of your property. If there's sufficient cracks in it, sometimes they make you do it for like driveway blocks as well. Sometimes you have to replace your entire driveway. That's one thing to think about, especially if you're gonna invest in Cleveland, Ohio or another city, to look at the city inspection and what they're gonna require, because especially this city in Cleveland, Ohio, which is Maple Heights, they have very, very strict point of sale inspections, which a lot of people don't invest in this neighborhood because they don't have the right team to be able to handle that. So it's something important to look for when you're building your team out of state as well. Have somebody that knows the market and is doing deals at scale and at volume and has some city connections, at least knows what they're gonna look for, so that when you are scoping out this house, you can put this in your budget. Because if you didn't put this in your budget, you'd be completely screwed. Maple Heights, which is in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. Again, I mentioned the POS, which is a big thing here, especially if you're doing renovations in cities, to watch out for point of sale inspections or city inspections. This house, we actually sold it for $120,000. It's closing in a couple weeks because, as you can see, renovations is pretty much done. This house is going to rent out for $1,050 a month. Taxes are $2,300 a year. Annual insurance is $650 a month. So for the buyer who's going to come buy this house, let's break it down. So rent $1,050 a month, monthly taxes $192, monthly insurance $64, and then the debt service is going to be $475. So your net cash flow is a little over $200 a month in net cash flow, and they're going to come in and put 20% down. So it's going to be a great return for the investor to come and buy this property, renovated, rented out. Everything's already done. Everything's done with the city inspection side in terms of the point of sale inspection. That's essentially what we do on martelturnkey.com, is houses like this all the time. So if you guys are interested in buying a product like this or buying a property like this in a market like Cleveland, Ohio, where everything is literally done for you, head over to the website. You can book a phone call with one of us that are here on the Cleveland trip and literally ask them all these questions that you guys have. So head over to the website. But this one is going to be completely done, completely turnkey, sold to one of our clients in the next couple of weeks. All right, we're at another house. This is the last house of the day. We're in Garfield Heights right now. This house is currently under construction. As you can see, they just ripped up the carpets. They're going to refinish the hardwood floors, kitchen renovations, exterior touch-ups, driveway. A lot of the heavy lifting has been done. This is in Garfield Heights, which is another city that requires what's called point of sale. They're requiring us to redo the driveway, sidewalk blocks, all these kinds of things. That driveway within itself is like $4,000 to handle. That's what's going on with this one. This one is sold $125,000. We bought it for $50,000, $40,000 in renovation, so 90 grand all in. Sold it for 125. Again, we don't know what the house is going to appraise for, so that's something that we are waiting on. It's going to appraise anything from 100 to 125K. So the breakdown of the numbers, buying it for 50,000, renovation 40,000, all in is 90,000 bucks. Gonna appraise anything from 100 to 125. Buying it turnkey for 125,000 bucks, 20% down. So you're gonna come in with like $25,000, $30,000 to buy the property, or you can buy this house, go through the renovation, deal with the city inspection, hold the property for 6 months, and then do a refinance on that property. But it's gonna be 90 grand out of pocket if everything goes smoothly. So you're gonna need $90,000 to buy it, to renovate it, holding costs, and then also the POS and do all the city inspections and all that kind of stuff. So $90,000 to do it yourself, hopefully worth 100 to 110 after, rent out for $1,100 a month, or buy a turnkey, put 25, 30K down, and make cash flow of 200 to 300 bucks a month. This house sold really quick because this is in a really nice neighborhood. I mean, the street's amazing as well. So lots of things going for it, which is why we're spending so much money on the renovation and dealing with the city and the point of sale inspections, because we do like the neighborhood and we like the street. And now we're gonna go to dinner. We're actually meeting up with a title company who does all of our transactions here. I actually have to sign some closing documents to sell a house at dinner tonight. And we're supposed to, depending on the weather, go on a boat actually on the lake and have dinner with everybody. So we'll get some clips of that, put some clips in there, and it should be a good night to have dinner on the lake.